Walk into any supermarket in Nairobi and you will find two vegetables sitting right next to each other on the shelf. Sukuma Wiki, the one your grandmother has been cooking your whole life. And spinach, the one every Western health article tells you to eat. Two leafy greens, very different prices, very different reputations. And somewhere along the way, a quiet assumption crept in. That spinach is the healthy one, the superfood, the thing fit people in Instagram videos put in their smoothies. And Sukuma Wiki is just the cheap one, the everyday one, the one that is fine but nothing special. Today on Dakika, Afya, we are putting both of them under the microscope. Nutrition numbers, bioavailability, real-world health benefits, and what the research actually says about which one deserves a bigger place on your plate. The answer might genuinely surprise you. Before we compare the two, it is worth understanding why this conversation matters beyond just curiosity about vegetables. Kenya is in the middle of a nutrition transition. Urbanization is pulling more people away from traditional diets rich in local vegetables, legumes, and whole grains, and toward more processed, convenience-based eating. At the same time, Western wellness culture is flooding social media with content that implicitly and sometimes explicitly positions imported or internationally recognized foods as superior to local ones. Quinoa over millet, kale over sukuma, chia seeds over omna. This matters because it shapes what people buy, what they cook, and ultimately what they eat every day. And if people are abandoning local nutritious foods in pursuit of expensive imported alternatives that are not actually significantly better, that is both a health problem and an economic one. Most Kenyan families cannot afford to build their diet around imported superfoods, and the good news, as we will see today, is that they absolutely do not need to. Let us start with Sukuma Wiki, kale. For anyone who did not know, that is exactly what it is. Sukuma Wiki is a variety of kale, one of the most nutritionally dense leafy greens on earth, and it has been growing in Kenyan soil and feeding Kenyan families for generations. Per 100 grams of cooked Sukuma Wiki, you are getting a genuinely impressive nutritional package. It is an excellent source of vitamin K, critical for blood clotting and bone health, and provides more than your entire recommended daily intake in a single serving. It is rich in vitamin A from beta-carotene, which supports eye health and immune function. It contains meaningful amounts of vitamin C, calcium, iron, and folate. And it provides a solid amount of dietary fiber, which, as we discussed in our ugali and diabetes videos, is one of the most important nutritional factors for blood sugar management and gut health. Sukuma Wiki also contains a class of compounds called glucosinolates, the same compounds found in broccoli, cabbage, and other cruciferous vegetables, which research suggests have anti-inflammatory and potentially cancer-protective properties. These are not trace amounts. Kale, which is what Sukuma Wiki is consistently ranked among the most glucosinolate-rich vegetables available anywhere. Now spinach. Spinach is genuinely impressive on paper and deserves its strong nutritional reputation. The question is not whether spinach is good for you, it clearly is, but whether it is significantly better than the sukuma you have been eating your whole life. Per 100 grams of cooked spinach you get high levels of vitamin K, similar to sukuma, strong vitamin A content from beta-carotene, similar to sukuma, good vitamin C, slightly lower than sukuma. Iron. Spinach has a reputation for being iron-rich, which is true on paper, but this is where it gets interesting. And folate. Spinach is particularly strong here, with higher folate content than Sukuma Wiki, which is worth noting especially for women of reproductive age, since folate is critical for fetal neural development. Spinach also contains lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants specifically beneficial for eye health and protection against age-related macular degeneration, and it has a slightly higher water content than sukuma, making it a hydrating food as well. So nutritionally both are excellent, but the comparison is more nuanced than the superfood marketing suggests. Here is where the comparison gets genuinely interesting, and where a lot of popular nutrition advice falls apart. Spinach has a reputation for being one of the best plant sources of iron, and in terms of raw iron content, that reputation is technically earned. But here is what most people do not know. Spinach is also very high in oxalic acid, a compound that binds to iron and calcium in your digestive system and dramatically reduces how much your body can actually absorb. The technical term for this is bioavailability, not just how much of a nutrient is present, but how much your body can actually use. The iron in spinach has relatively low bioavailability because of oxalic acid interference. Studies suggest you may be absorbing significantly less of spinach's iron than the raw numbers suggest. Sukuma Wiki, while containing somewhat less iron by raw measurement, has lower oxalic acid content, meaning the iron it does contain is more bioavailable. Your body can actually use more of it. This is a crucial distinction that raw nutritional comparisons almost never mention. The same principle applies to calcium. Spinach's calcium sounds impressive on a nutrition label, but oxalic acid reduces how much your body actually absorbs from it. Sukuma Wiki's calcium is more accessible to your system. This does not make spinach bad, it makes the comparison more honest. And it means the Sukuma Wiki your grandmother was cooking was doing more for your body than the raw numbers alone suggest. Beyond the raw nutritional comparison, there are practical factors that matter enormously for what you actually eat every day. Cost is the obvious one. Sukuma Wiki is one of the most affordable vegetables in Kenya, available fresh at virtually every market, kibanda and roadside stall across the country. Spinach is more expensive, less consistently available outside urban supermarkets, and has a shorter shelf life. For most Kenyan families eating on a realistic budget, Sukuma Wiki is simply more sustainable as a daily vegetable than spinach. Cooking tradition matters too. Sukuma Wiki is deeply embedded in Kenyan cooking culture. Most Kenyan adults grew up watching it prepared, know how to cook it well, and have family recipes that work. Familiarity means it actually gets cooked and eaten consistently, which is worth far more nutritionally than an impressive vegetable that sits in the fridge and goes to waste because you are not sure what to do with it. One important cooking note: both Sukuma Wiki and spinach lose some water-soluble vitamins, particularly vitamin C, during cooking. To preserve more nutrients, cook Sukuma Wiki briefly in a small amount of water or steam it rather than boiling it for extended periods. Adding a small amount of tomato or lemon juice when cooking also helps with iron absorption from non-meat sources. So which one is actually healthier? The honest answer is, they are remarkably close nutritionally, and for most Kenyans, Sukuma Wiki wins on every practical measure. It is more affordable, more accessible, more culturally familiar, and the bioavailability of its key nutrients is in many ways superior to spinach despite spinach's stronger marketing. Spinach has a genuine edge in folate content, meaningful particularly for pregnant women and women planning pregnancy, and its lutein and zeaxanthin content is beneficial for eye health specifically. If you have access to spinach and can afford it, adding it to your diet alongside Sukuma is a fine choice. But replacing Sukuma Wiki with spinach in the belief that spinach is simply the better vegetable is nutritionally unfounded and economically unnecessary. The real message here is not Sukuma versus spinach. The real message is that both of these vegetables belong on your plate more often than they currently are for most Kenyans, and that the local, affordable option you have been eating your whole life is nutritionally world-class. 3 things to take from today. 1. Eat more Sukuma Wiki without guilt or the sense that you are eating the inferior option. You are eating one of the most nutritionally dense leafy greens available anywhere on Earth, grown locally, priced accessibly, and deeply suited to Kenyan cooking traditions. 2. Cook it better. Brief cooking over high heat rather than long boiling preserves more nutrients. Adding lemon juice or tomato to your Sukuma helps your body absorb more of the iron it contains. Small cooking adjustments, meaningful nutritional difference. 3. If you can access and afford spinach, use both. They complement each other nutritionally. Spinach's folate strength and eye health antioxidants, alongside Sukuma's superior glucosinolate content and overall bioavailability, makes for a genuinely powerful combination. But spinach is the addition, not the replacement. The idea that local Kenyan food is nutritionally inferior to imported Western alternatives is not just wrong, it is costing people money and potentially pushing them away from foods that are genuinely excellent for their health. Sukuma Wiki is kale. The same vegetable that sells for 10 times the price in health food stores abroad has been on Kenyan plates for generations. Eat it proudly, cook it well, and subscribe to Dakika your Afya for a new health video every week, research-based, made specifically for Kenyans, and committed to telling you the truth about the food that is already on your plate. Stay well, see you next time.